Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to COS Indiana Live. My name is Dale Parrish. I'm the state director for Convention of States here in Indiana. And joining me tonight is my co-host, Ken Kashuba. Ken is our state communications coordinator. Hi, Ken. How you doing?
Good, Dale. How are you?
Good, good. I don't know why I want to ask this every time, but I just have to ask it. What is this number six, seven broadcasts that you've joined me on so
Six,
far?
seven. We're up to 14, Dale, and that means you're into the bonus area now.
Oh, the bonus area.
Yeah,
What bonus what does a bonus look like in
Well,
convention?
well, after a dozen co-host shows with you, everyone after this now, my pay doubles.
Is that right? No kidding.
Yeah, I thought you were aware of that, but
Well, folks, just so you know, when Ken says his pay doubles, that means another zero, another 000. We're all
that,
volunteers in this effort.
that's what
So
volunteers do.
that's what volunteers do. That's right. Well, Ken, just so everyone knows, one of your main duties, of course, tonight is to monitor the comments and questions that we get from our viewers, right?
That's right, and I'll even throw in one. We got a couple already. Just a couple of
Oh,
greetings from people that normally drop in. So I just figured I'd throw that up there from Matthew from Scranton, PA. It's a nice little join from Matthew
yeah,
there.
yeah. Welcome, Matthew. Thank you for joining us tonight. Great,
And of
great.
course we have Dale. We have Dale saying hi, greetings to all his fellow patriots.
Yep, yep. Dale's one of our region captains up in the northwestern corner of the state. So thank.
We have another one of our one of our roundtable stars joining us tonight
Yeah,
too. So
yeah. Hi, John. Thank you for joining tonight. Good, good deal. All right, all right. Might as well go ahead and mention now that if you have any comment or question about our broadcast tonight after the broadcast is over, or at any point, quite honestly, you can email us at raiseyourvoicecos@gmail.com. That's raiseyourvoicecos@gmail.com. And we will make every effort to respond to your email, whatever it pertains to. So also want to mention that now this is not something that we're implementing tonight, but on our roundtable coming up on the fourth Monday of every month, our COS Indiana live broadcast, we're going to have a viewer call-in feature. So I just want to mention that we're not even going to throw the number out right now, just so we don't confuse people. So but that will be coming up. That will be available on our roundtable broadcast coming up once again on the fourth Monday of every month. And in March, that does happen to come up on March 28th. But we'll be reminding you again of that as we go on here. Ken, we're still working on the theme of what action can I take in Convention of States. Many of you I know, if you're like Ken and I were at one time, you felt like you may be feeling like it's time to do something with everything that's going on. Ken, I imagine that was, if I recall, that's kind of how you felt at one time, right? It was time to
oh
do
yeah,
something.
yeah. When you get to the point where you look at your voting results and notice that nothing's really changing from every 4 years to every 4 years to every 4 years, and you see things happening the way they are. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's time to roll up your sleeves and get involved.
that's right. That's right. And I think it's becoming more and more evident every day that the need for people to get involved, because the closer you can get to your government, the more impact you can have on it. So I think this is catching on, and I think people are becoming more and more aware of it.
I
Well,
think tonight's I think tonight's program will be a good evidence of that too.
Yeah, I think it will too. Well, tonight, folks, we are going to be talking about the Truckers Convoy, also is known as the People's Convoy. And we have a treat for you tonight. We have an individual with us tonight that participated in this convoy. And he is a gentleman from Arizona, Bart Anderson. We'll be introducing him very shortly here. But Bart participated in the convoy. He's got a few pictures for us. Ken has found a really good video to introduce this segment to us when we get to that part. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And then after we talk with Bart, then we're going to show you a little short video on our latest state to join the Convention of States movement. Ken, we're West Virginia has become the 18th state. Isn't that something?
We're moving along. We're moving along.
We started the year out at 15. As a matter of fact, we were stuck on 15 states since I think it was like March of 2019. I think was when the 15th state passed. So we picked up 3 states here: Wisconsin, Nebraska, and now West Virginia. And Ken, I think we got a chance to get 1 or 2 more this year, don't we?
Yeah, we're over the halfway mark, and yeah, I think we could strike 20 or so here before the end of the year, and really be looking at a realization of that convention happening real soon.
Yeah, we got to get to 34. That's the magic number.
34.
34 state legislatures to pass the resolution calling for a convention of states, and so we're over the halfway point. But so we've got a really good video regarding the passing of West Virginia, the passing of the resolution. I don't know if you've seen this video or not, Ken, but it is a really good one. It is a very good one. So we'll be showing that. And then after that, then the next segment is going to be will entail our polling. So Ken, you want to say a few words about that?
Yeah, I had to switch cameras here over here. I got froze on my other camera, so I'm making another switch here. Let me get over to my other camera.
Look at that! You got more than one camera.
Yeah, and sometimes cameras don't want to play nice, so we're gonna switch to the other one here, which is what we're gonna do. But yeah, raise your voice. We're gonna go ahead and bring up a QR code that you can basically take your smartphone out and grab a hold of the smart code or the QR code. Let me get that up here so that you can be ready for our polling session, which will come up, our Slido polling question. And that's our Slido.com. You can do that on your laptop or your desktop and enter that code 326243. Or, like I said, the easiest way to do this is just grab your smartphone and snap that QR code, and you'll be ready to answer our questions and join in on the fun.
And ladies and gentlemen, this is very important. We want your responses. We want your opinions. We want your answers to these polling questions that we include here, because it's the results of this polling that drives the content of our roundtable meeting. So what you say are important topics to you, then that will form the content on our roundtable meeting, which will be, like I said before, will be coming up on March 28th. All right. Well, that's kind of what we're going to be talking about tonight. And so let's, Ken, let's get into this first segment. And once again, we're talking about, what action can I take if I join Convention of States. And this is in the realm of Convention of States and activism. So we're going to be showing you some people that are engaged in activism this evening. So Ken, why don't you get us started with the video on the People's Convoy.
Okay, here we go.
Need to get back to building our own products, or we're going to be in trouble. We're going to run out of food if we don't keep these farmers farming. We're going to get in trouble for food.
All right. Pretty good
Action.
video. Pretty good video. Yeah. Well, without further ado, then let's bring on our guest this evening, Ken, and we'll get Mr. Bart Anderson. Hello, Bart.
Hi, Dale. How are you, Ken?
Hi, Bart.
Just fine. Just fine. Well, Bart, hopefully we gave you a good introduction there. Hopefully, Bart is. Tell us where you're located, Bart, and what you do in Convention Estates.
Okay, sure. I live in Bullhead City, Arizona, which is in the northwest corner of Arizona. And it's a small town of about 50,000 people. And people may have heard of Bullhead because it is one of the stops that Trump made when he was campaigning in this last election. And we were all very surprised because people don't know where Bullhead is, but it's actually where California, Nevada, and Arizona all intersect.
Oh.
So I think he came here because it was a central location to bring in people from Las Vegas, California, and Arizona. Okay. So that's how people may know of Bullhead City.
All right.
Yeah, and I'm a grassroots coordinator. I came aboard with the Convention of States last June, and I actually saw it on Facebook, and I did some investigation, and I was frustrated because I'm about 260 miles from Phoenix. So it's difficult for me to get engaged politically. This is a very conservative area. You know, there's just not a lot happening here. And when I ran into Convention of States, I said, this is a good way for me to get involved. So I initially came on as a volunteer and quickly discovered that there wasn't a district captain. So I said, well, I might as well. And at the time, we had 59,000 people who had signed the petition.
Really?
So Arizona actually passed Convention of States in 2017. So it was very active. And but once it was passed here in Arizona, people kind of died away.
Yeah.
So
That's
we
a
had
typical, that's a typical response. The same thing happened here in Indiana.
yeah.
I think I mentioned this to you before. As soon as we signed the resolution, we signed it approximately a year ahead of you in
Okay.
2016. And sure enough, once we passed the resolution, the momentum in our state really just dropped off. But that seems to be pretty typical. But
Well, I was excited coming in as a district captain because I had a large base of supporters, and I said, well, I think I can do something with this. I think I can get people engaged, and I worked pretty hard at it, and things were going along pretty well. At the time, we didn't have a state director, so the current current state director, Dwayne Hall, moved from grassroots coordinator to state director, and he asked me if I wanted to be the grassroots coordinator. And I said yes. And I don't know that I knew what I was signing up for, but I'm enjoying it. It's I work hard at it, but I'm very happy being here.
see, I did the same thing to Ken. And I asked him if he wanted to. He was just a videographer for us, and I asked him if he wanted. I promised him a big pay raise and company car and all that sort of stuff. So he really bought into it,
Yeah.
Of course, I'm just kidding, folks.
Dale's a good fisherman. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, all right, Bart. Well, we're certainly glad that you decided to do that. Tell me. I know when we talked about you coming on and discussing this convoy and what happened, you mentioned the why. Why are they doing this? And you want to, what did you find out? What did you find out as to the why?
Well, in the people I spoke with, and of course, I followed them on Facebook and so forth. But it's at the time the mandates were front and center, so they were protesting the mandates primarily, but just government overreach in general.
Okay.
And I think they got excited about it because what they saw going on in Canada. And they said, if they can do it in Canada, we can do it here. And so a group of people got together in California and said, we're going to do this. And they did it. It's pretty amazing. I mean, it touched a lot of people.
Well, I think the answer to the question why, the answer being to protest government overreach, that is very important to point out because that's one of the pillars of our resolution.
Right.
Reining in government overreach, reining in the breadth and control of the federal government is one of the pillars of that resolution. The other two being the national debt and term limits. So what this convoy is doing is exactly one of the things that Convention of States stands for, quite honestly. Yeah. So I think that was a very important point. Now, you pointed out to me that while we call it the Truckers Convoy, it's called the People's Convoy, right?
That was the name of this group, People's Convoy.
Okay. Okay. Now, you mentioned before we go in, you mentioned they have a website, right?
They do. It's thepeoplesconvoy.org.
Peoplesconvoy.org. Okay, I should have had a banner made for that, but I didn't. People's Convoy, all one word, I'm sure.
It is, yeah. That's just the URL, yeah.
Yeah. .org. Okay. Well, you provided us a few pictures and a couple really short videos. So I want to go ahead and bring those on here, and you kind of tell us what we're looking at here. Now, this is a very short video. This is where you started, right?
Right. Yes. It was a 2-lane road. And so people were lining up here. So we were just getting started, but they had to let traffic go both directions. So they would stop the convoy and let people go both, pass and get around it. So
Oh, okay.
we were stopped there for a bit and then we'd roll. Mhm.
Now, are you in California or Arizona here?
No, we're in Arizona. So this
Arizona.
was after the first night.
Oh,
So they
okay.
left Victorville, California, Southern California on February 23rd. And then that evening they spent the night in Golden Valley, Arizona, which is only about 40 miles from where I live. So I couldn't pass this opportunity up.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to play this video. It's very short, but there's a good shot of your pickup truck in this, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, here we go. And there's your truck.
Right. And I got the COS flag flying.
So now they're letting traffic go around the convoy. Look how long that is. Wow.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Okay. And now here's another some still pictures of your pickup truck.
Right. So that the picture on the left, I didn't know what time they were going to leave, so I got there at 5 o'clock in the morning, and this was still at dark. And anyway, they didn't leave until 9:30, so I ended up waiting some time.
Okay. All right. Okay. And we got another picture here. And this is very, I was very interested in finding out from you what you saw as far as response along the highway. And
Yeah, so all the overpasses, well, there aren't many. It's a pretty sparse area. But the the overpasses that were closer to Kingman, the main city, they were literally wall to wall people on both sides of the freeway. This one was about 15 miles out of Kingman in a very remote area. I would never expect all these people to show up there. And yeah, it was every overpass had people waving the flags. And of course, the horns were honking, and it was really touching to see all the people that were out there supporting the truckers.
now, your time in the convoy, was it pretty much all in the state of Arizona?
It was. My intent was to go all the way across the state, which was going to be, 8 or 9 hours. And then I was going to just turn around and come back. I wanted to go to Washington, but I didn't have the time to do that. So
Right.
I thought, well, I'll go across Arizona and then return. And unfortunately, I only made it about 150 miles out, and my COS flagpole broke in half and flew off into the freeway. So I pulled off, and my American flag was about ready to go. So I loaded up and headed home.
What do you think caused the COS flag to break? Was it very windy that day, or?
Well, when you're driving at 65 miles an hour, those flags get beat. And
you were able to get up to those speeds, huh?
oh yeah, it was very interesting because you'd fly along at 65 for a while and then everything would come to a stop.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of rubber banding going on. But
what were your poles made of, Bart?
well, the one that broke initially was 2-inch PVC.
PVC, yeah.
And it wasn't the PVC that broke, it was the joint that I had. I had a coupler to hold the center section in, and it came apart. It was a bad design. I know better now.
Trial by error, yeah.
Yes.
Well, let's this is a little short video. This was before the pole broke.
Right.
But I thought it was very, very good. A good way to wind up here. Yeah, very good, very good, very good.
I was alone, so I didn't have a lot of opportunity to get a lot of pictures, especially when we were moving. So,
Okay, all right. Well, tell me, I know you said you had a chance to talk to some of the people, right?
I
Uh,
did.
um, tell us tell us about where were they from? What were they? Uh, some of them were probably making some pretty severe sacrifices to participate in this. What did you hear? What did you?
Yeah,
What kind of,
so the first guy I met was a trucker that came in from California, and I think he and his wife travel together in their truck. And he was, he's just another patriot. And he said, I can't stand to see what's going on in our country, and I have to sacrifice nearly a month of time. By the time we get there, we're there, and then I get a load to come back. It was going to cost him about a month in revenue. And he had to, some fuel was donated. They took donations. And last I saw, their goal was to raise 5 million. And I think they were very close to 2 million. And that money was going to reimburse the truckers for fuel. And just a great guy, just a good old boy, truck driver. And I enjoyed talking to him. I met a couple of guys that were from Michigan, and they drove 150 miles out of their way to come up and join in the convoy on their way back to Phoenix. So they were going to be able to be in the convoy for, I don't know, maybe 100 miles or so, but they wanted to see it. They wanted to, experience it. I met another guy and his wife, young couple. They're traveling in their motorhome, and they decided that they were going to join in the convoy and go all the way to Washington and hang in there the whole time. And they had never been that far in their motorhome, and they just said, we're going for it. And of course, all the vehicles were pretty well decorated, so it was quite a sight to see.
So they were, of course, the individuals that had their own motorhomes with them, that they had a place to stay, and I guess the large rigs, the drivers were staying in their trucks, I assume, right?
Yeah.
But the rest of the individuals, then they had to find accommodations along the way, right?
Right. Yeah. And, a motorhome or a trailer, there were a lot of people with trailers too that were in the convoy. But, carrying your own quarters would be a great way to do it.
Yeah. So I asked you, I know you told me kind of the makeup of the convoy.
Right. Yeah, that's it. Yep. Those are about the numbers.
Okay.
I was surprised at the number of motorhomes.
I assume the motorhomes were of all different sizes, huh?
Oh yeah, there were brand new ones, big diesel pushers, all the way down to ones that I didn't think were going to make it down the road.
Really? All right. Well, Bart, I want to thank you for coming on and sharing your experience with us. Any final thought as to the experience? Have you been able to reflect and have any final thought about your experience?
Well, I guess what I took out of it is I was touched by the number of people that are in a fairly remote part of Arizona that actually came out and stood on the bridges for a long time because they didn't know when the truckers were going to come by. And I've never seen so many happy people that were just getting along and so patriotic. It was very touching. In fact, I've got to tell you, in this area, there are a lot of Indian reservations.
Oh.
And when I was stopped on one of the on-ramps waiting for the convoy to catch up, there was an Indian guy who came out and he wasn't fully decorated in Indian garb, but he had some kind of a worship pole or something. And he walked out nearly on the freeway, and he was as they were coming by, he was doing these Indian calls, or I don't know. I didn't know quite what it was, but he was clearly supporting the convoy as an American Indian.
Oh, cool.
And I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, very good. Very good.
So yeah, it was well worth the effort and the time. I enjoyed it, and I would do it again. And I just wish I could have gone all the way to Washington.
Yeah. All right. Well, Bart, thank you very much for coming on and giving us your experience. You were engaging in activism, Bart, and that's what Convention of States is about. So
yes, absolutely.
All right, Bart, thank you very much.
Oh, you bet. Thank you. You
Have a
guys
good
have
evening.
Bart.
Yeah, you too.
All right, very interesting, Ken.
I'll throw up a couple of comments. John Ackerman had mentioned here that it came through Indiana, which obviously the video showed it came through, and they had a rally in Monrovia. Was that one day that they stayed over here? It was March 2nd. And then they headed out towards Ohio on March 3rd. And John said that he read that the convoy stretched from Indianapolis to the Ohio state line.
Wow.
That's a pretty good stretch.
It sure is.
Stretch. Yep.
Sure is.
Yeah. And we had another visitor tonight who just wanted to check in, Sean Falls from Indiana District 40.
Okay.
Wanted to check in. So wanted to get those up.
Excellent. All right. Well, Ken, let's get into this next segment. And this is normally where we do a COS Indiana Live contributor segment. But tonight, I think in lieu of us getting state number 18, West Virginia, we're going to play a little video that has been put out in celebration of West Virginia becoming state number 18. And it's a very, very good video, I think. So I thought we would go ahead and take a look at that tonight. All right. Okay, here we go.
We are proud West Virginians and Americans who want to pursue life and liberty without a tyrannical government involving itself in every aspect of our lives.
I defended our country and our Constitution for 28 years.
I swore an oath when I enlisted to serve my country.
Combat veteran. I'm a retired U.S. Army infantry officer.
United States Marine Corps Corporal.
I'm a retired Master Sergeant of the U.S. Air Force.
I'm a former corporal of the USMC.
I'm retired disabled Sergeant First Class, U.S. Army.
I am a proud daughter of the American Revolution.
Ladies and gentlemen, the perpetuity of this great union is in jeopardy.
We have a government that has totally abdicated its responsibilities while delving into areas where it has no business.
They clearly do not represent us. Yet they retain their position for years and decades, and it's always by blaming someone else. Do you think they're going to limit themselves? They're using their power for personal financial gain while subjecting us to tremendous debt.
Imposing rules and regulations that would fill this room.
Especially here in West Virginia, they have destroyed our coal industry.
Over the last 20 years, our national debt has doubled twice under administrations of both parties.
75% of the population of the United States for decades in poll after poll has indicated a preference for term limits, and yet Congress will not take up the issue. Our situation is dire. We have over $100 trillion in unfunded liabilities.
The direction that our country is heading right now is dangerous.
Our country's founders knew this was going to happen and put a way to stop it by providing Article 5 of our Constitution, the means to allow the citizens to call for Convention of States.
The Founding Fathers, in their wisdom and brilliance, inserted this language so that the states would have an alternative method for proposing amendments because they knew Congress would be unwilling to limit their own power.
This presents an opportunity for the state of West Virginia to be part of the solution.
Limit the power and jurisdiction of the federal government and enforce fiscal restraint on the central government.
Only resolution that addresses the coal EPA regulations that are currently crushing our economy.
So today, you have a choice.
You're the line.
We're the only ones who can do this. Congress is not going to do it.
We must return to the rule of law. We must return to our constitutional republic.
It is time to require the federal government to relinquish its powers, not specifically outlined in the Constitution. The time has come to require Congress to live by the same laws that they pass. The time has come for the federal government to balance the budget, just as every American has to.
West Virginians know what's best for West Virginia. This is where voices like mine can be heard, these halls. This is where the founders wanted the power to rely.
Everybody will be encouraged across the nation, will see this and take this example, pass it in their states. We'll be one step closer to taking back the power from the out-of-control federal government.
That you are not alone, that there are more like you across this country, that there is power in the grassroots.
I and thousands of other mountaineers ask you today to be courageous, plant your flag, make a stand for liberty, and pass this resolution.
Boy, Ken, I've watched that a couple of times.
Impressive.
Every time it really gets me. You know?
Yeah, and you see those states and the numbers listed flying up there. Boy, it's filling up fast. And Susan Lyon had a comment on that. She said she was very impressed with the good folks of West Virginia, and this was all done in a single day.
Is that right? Really?
Single day, passed both houses in a single day.
I wasn't aware of that. That is. I've never heard of that being done.
Yeah. No, usually we're talking about it for weeks, where it gets batted around and goes through one and gets hung up on another. But yeah, they got down and got it done. I mean, I think that shows, I think people are getting serious, and I think, the states are realizing it. And I think we're going to see some good movement, coming up in the next year or two.
I certainly hope so. I
do too.
All right, Ken. Well, it's time for Raise Your Voice, and that is the polling segment of our broadcast. So I'm going to let you take over. And
no, I'm not going to take over. I'm going to let Marengo Mike take over.
You're going to let Marengo Mike do it? All right. There
He's raising his hand.
Voice, a segment that features you. Scan the code and join the fun. It's your turn to be heard.
Well, as Marengo Mike said, it's time to raise your voice and be heard. And at this point, we're going to go ahead and bring up the QR code in the poll again so that we can get the segment started. So I will go ahead and bring that up and let people once again get your smartphone out and take a shot of that QR code. We've got some interesting questions tonight, and as Dale mentioned earlier, these are very important because we use these to figure out what we're going to talk about next on our roundtable. So this is your choice, your chance to be heard, and your chance to let your voice be heard. What do you want us to talk about? What do you want to see the roundtable discuss? So that QR code will remain on the side on a sidebar. So even though we go to our first question here, you'll be able to continue to get that on your smartphone. And I'll also remind you too that we have some. Where are we here? I think we ended up with the wrong one here. Let me go back to number 1. There we go. I think it should be number 1, but this will be up through the 10th. Well. For some reason, it's giving me the wrong. No, I guess we're right. Okay, we're good. Sorry about that.
Is Marengo Mike playing games with you this evening?
I think Marengo got his fingers on the wrong tab. Yeah, so here it is. Please check the top 3 issues you want to support. So you get 3 out of this group, which allows you to, kind of put them in ranking order that you see them, but please check the top 3 issues you want to support. We have election integrity. We have ban vaccine mandates. That would probably include other types of mandates. We talk about protecting girls and women's sports. That's another hot topic coming up.
Yeah, very hot.
Sanctuary state status for the Second Amendment. There's 100% on election integrity. So I know that's a year. And we get some other votes coming in. Sanctuary state for Second Amendment. Bill of Rights, and of course, ban critical race theory from public schools and universities. Interesting. Yeah, there's another couple here. Prohibit 1619 project and ban Confucius Institute in public schools and universities. So I'm going to leave this one up a little bit because there's a number of choices, and we're going to give people a chance to put in their top three.
Okay.
So your top three on these is what we're looking for. Prohibit 1619 project. I'm going to scroll these down a little bit. You guys should be able to see them all. I know on my screen I'm losing the bottom half, so I'm just letting people see that, but I'll go up a little bit further. Looks like still election integrity is number one there.
By far, it seems to be the top one, isn't it?
And then it's a close 40% there at the ban vaccine mandates and sanctuary state status for the Second Amendment. So, I think people are seeing, freedom of speech is just, I don't know, being attacked.
Yeah.
Of course, there's some other important ones there too, but we'll go ahead because there was a lot there. I'll go ahead and move on to the next poll. If I can get this right here. And what issues of governmental overreach annoys you the most? Now, this is a chance for you to actually text in something. If you've got a particular government overreach that annoys you the most. And probably a lot of people, depending on what television station they watch, will have some different answers here maybe, but this is going to be a text area. So you can basically put in the text area, which area of government overreach annoys you the most. And we'll see if we get any people reacting to this. We might have to reply to this. There, we're getting some here now. Federal control of education. That's a good one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I've long federal control and spending, of course, is now coming up. So we're getting some interesting texts here.
Yeah.
I've seen that that education control with the federal dangling the dollars in front of people for far too long in my previous career, and it's amazing that we've let our education get controlled by so long by the federal government.
You did deal with educational organizations quite a bit, right?
Yeah. I could see the administration top heaviness of schools. I mean, they talk about corporations being top heavy. I saw it in schools, and they're more concerned with the almighty dollar, and kids come in last, unfortunately, in that situation. So
yeah.
Now we got a couple on spending. So it's some interesting there. Interviewing with law enforcement and obvious criminal activities such as voter fraud. Okay, getting some good comments there, Dale, on what issues annoy people the most. So we'll have to collect these all and maybe bring them up at the next Monday night or at the round table and review those.
It's been a long time since we've done much in the area of spending and the national debt, and which is a major pillar of our resolution, and I think we're going to need to look at spending some time on the roundtable on national debt.
I think it's often ignored, and of course it's never talked about. I think I've heard Rand Paul maybe talk about it once or twice. You got a couple of congressional people that are senators that might bring it up once in a blue moon, but we're getting to a tipping point for sure. We're getting to a tipping point.
Well, just like the gentleman said in the West Virginia video, it doesn't make any difference which political party's in control. It happens regardless of which party's in control. So
yeah, it's easy to write that check when you don't have to worry about the bank account it's coming out of. That's for sure. I'll go on to the third poll here, and this basically is: will you help us and promote our movement? If you'll check all that apply, we appreciate people considering some of the things that they can do to help us promote the movement. And that's posting on social media or writing letters and op-eds to your local newspapers. Call your local TV and radio station. And of course, I think posting on social media, we've talked about this, in order to even expand the reach of our program, we need your help. We need people to post and share.
We have a position called social media warrior, and we need social media warriors.
That's true.
In our state. So
that's true. Well, we're getting an interesting 75% so far on the social media, and 25 that are people that are willing to write. So
Yeah.
I guess a lot of people really don't want to talk to their local TV and radio stations. They've already turned the knob off on most of those, I guess. But and at this point, we've had no thank you. So it's always, that's a good sign. Good sign.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
Well, Dale, I think we're good with our poll tonight. I think again, you can continue to vote on this throughout through the 10th, basically. So if you want to, if you miss some of these, or if you want to even share it and have some other opinions, it can be done all the way up through the 10th. And then, of course, we'll check the results on that and use it for our upcoming
And don't forget, if you have a comment or thought afterwards, email us, raiseyourvoicecos@gmail.com.
Another way to directly communicate. Yep.
raiseyourvoicecos@gmail.com. All right.
Correct.
All right, Ken. Very good. Very good. Thank you very much. Well, Ken, I think let's wrap it up here for tonight and remind everyone that our national website, conventionofstates.com. If you want to join Convention of States and get involved with us here in Indiana, that's the first step to take, is go to that national website, sign up to be a supporter, and even consider perhaps engaging in a leadership position. So that's conventionofstates.com. Our next roundtable, once again, coming up March 28th. It's always the fourth Monday of every month. So the next one coming up will be March 28th, our roundtable discussion. So I just want to close out tonight, Ken, with one of our, you remember this, Ken?
Yes, I do.
One of our great district captains and activists, Jill Jones, spoke of this acronym, the OTC, the Get Off the Couch, Off the Couch. I thought that was very good. And
join the OTC group.
Join the OTC group. This struck my interest so much, because that's exactly where I was some years ago, and so many of us in Convention of States were at this point at one time, and we decided that it was time to get off the couch and get involved. So,
well, your TV never listens to what you're yelling at it anyway, so you might as well make your voice heard elsewhere.
That's right. You might as well start talking to someone else.
That's right.
So many of us in this movement were at that point at one time. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you're one of those individuals at that point, then Convention of States here in Indiana is your answer, and we would love to have you join our family. So, Ken, that's all we have for tonight. Our next broadcast, of course, will be next Monday evening, the 14th. So same time, 7 p.m. So with that said, Ken, I think we'll say goodnight to everyone and sign off.
Okay, Dale.
Thanks a lot. Good night, everyone.